Hi, I just want to show you guys an interesting story. So I just gave a lift to a man from India, and his story and my family story are so similar, it's worth, pardon me, it's worth making note of. Anyway, he came to the United States in 1996 and has been here ever since, living in Orange County, working here, and he is leaving at the end of the week to go back to India to resume life there. Now the similarities is, of course, ending one life in one country and beginning a life in another country. But he and I had this deep heart-to-heart over the joys and particularly the pain, the aching pain, the profoundly difficult pain of excising all the trappings of your life in one place. Let's close the window, the noise. All the stuff of the one life and moving on to the next life. And in particular, throwing everything away. And my wife and daughter are doing that right now. Yumiko just sent me a photo. She and my daughter were taking their last load of stuff to the dump to get rid of in Japan. And she showed me a photo of the back of our car. We only have another few days on the car, too. And just loaded with stuff I recognize. Our stove, our microwave, she doesn't even have cooking utensils. I don't know what she's going to do. Just instant ramen for the rest of the week. Everything's in there. It's all gone. And I was thinking, all the stuff that I left behind that I couldn't part with, it's gone too. Precious things. We kept photographs and memories, but there were other things that were borderline I couldn't get rid of, and we're getting rid of those too. Really, it is all gone. All that we are left down to is one another and the clothes on our back, for the most part, my family and I, and starting here. And it's going to be a very difficult start. This move, it really did destroy us. And I make a good living, but the number of expenses that came up, the things that hit us, I just can't even begin to describe to you guys. That previous video I made about warning people about returning after a long time abroad, you got to watch out. It'll nail you. Anyway, I'll be back on my feet. I've had so many people doing this lift thing that have shared that. So many stories with me. And a woman that I was talking to yesterday was telling me, she said she took me to this really bad. I picked her up in Long Beach, and I took her as we were getting to Los Angeles, and as I was getting ready to get off the freeway, she said, "Now brace yourself." She said, "You're going to see a part of LA that you're not going to believe. It's beyond belief. Even if you've lived here, you're not going to believe it." And she was right. It was the worst place I'd ever seen. Right as soon as we got off the freeway, it was bim, bang, horrible area. And I've been some bad places. I remember seeing the slums in Kuala Lumpur, and getting robbed at gunpoint in Kingston in Jamaica, and that was a bad area too. But this was a lot worse. I was really afraid to get out of the car. I was afraid. I turned the lift app off. I was afraid of getting any calls. But I actually left it back on. I turned it back on shortly later, and I said, "Oh, don't be scared. Just see what happens." And I turned it on, and I got one, and I got picked up. I picked up a woman who lived up to the reputation. It took her a long ride. She paid a lot. Anyway, I'm way off topic. Anyway, I've been meeting one person after another. But this man, so he's there. I just dropped him off. He's going to his apartment. He had the cleaners come by to clean up the apartment, and he told them, "Take everything. Take all my utensils, all my kitchen stuff. I don't need anything." And he said, "Even take my sleeping bag." Who takes a sleeping bag? But they took it, and he slept on the carpet last night, just like I'm doing. I've been sleeping on the carpet, and I've been sleeping on the floor for 14 months on a thin mattress in a sleeping bag. He slept on the carpet tonight with a blanket, and he used his jacket as a pillow. And we were talking about the pain, and I don't mean to go on and on about this, but it's profound and it's deep. The pain of goodbye, and the pain of giving up all your things, and watching my wife driving off all that stuff to the dump. And then she sent me a photo yesterday of a box full of our daughter's stuffed toys, and it was a box of them. And she said, "Kurt, I'm shipping these to the shrine, a particular shrine it's good for getting rid of dolls, I guess." She said, she says, "I'm Japanese, even though she's like me, she's not into woo and spiritual stuff. She says, "I'm Japanese." She said, "I held every one of them in turn." And there was a box full of dolls, all the stuff we bought our little Emily when she was growing up. And she said, and she thanked every one of them for their service, and put it in the box. Picked up another one, thanked it, put it. It's kind of breaking me up. And she said Emily did the same thing. And then she shipped it off to the shrine where they will have the dendonyaki, the ceremonial burning. All the stuffed animals would be burned. That's the kind of thing that you could say, give it to a thrift store, recycle it. This doesn't done in Japan. It's the thrift store, the recycling stop. It exists, but it's not part of the culture really. So there's that. So as that man parted and he went off, I shook his hand and I said, "Thank you for talking with me," because I was broken up earlier after seeing my wife driving away. I'm here by myself. I'm doing my lift gig. Speaking of which, I got to make sure that's on. Make sure I'm not missing anything. About 30 minutes ago, I was having a really rough 30 minutes. Feeling, and it happens. It comes it's like constipation. Or it comes in waves, and it wells up, and you say, "Oh, I feel lonely. I feel depressed. I feel all this stuff. Just make it over. I just want it to be over. I want my wife and daughter here to have that over, so we can just close the door on that and move on to the next phase of life. I'm just so sick of it." And he felt the exact same way. Because he said, so he and I were talking about focusing on the good things, and he said he's going to see his family, be with his parents again. He'll live with his parents. That's the way the Indian culture works. He said that's where he is. So anyway, on and on. Really fortuitous meeting to meet someone who's undergoing coincidentally at the same time, the same type of thing. One more thing. I picked up another young man earlier, a 16-year-old from my daughter's high school. I picked him up at a big hotel where he's an intern learning how to do culinary arts. And I picked him up and I drove him home, and it turns out that I was taking him very close to where I live. And we got to be talking. It turns out he's a student at the same high school where my daughter will be attending. And he came here from Egypt when he was 14 years old, the same age as Emily. He didn't speak too much English. His English is perfect now. I told him if he told me he was from Irvine or from California, I would have believed him. And he told me anyway that he told me all about the process of getting your English assessed, and how the placement level, exactly. He told me everything that Emily's going to go through because he went through it 2 years ago. He told me that it's not a problem. He said they'll find the right level and they'll slowly integrate her into the system. He told me that there are lots of Japanese people there, that she'll have plenty of company of Japanese kids that are from Japan, real Japanese from Japan. The other thing was, he said that I just asked him about bullying because Emily has experienced a lot of bullying in Japan, and it wasn't good. As if there's any bullying that's good, but it drove me nuts. He told me that bullying just isn't tolerated at that school. He said that it's the teachers and the students, they shut that stuff down right away. So that's really good to know that she won't be experiencing that. Anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. 2 videos in 1 day. I guess I gotta hit while the opportunity is there. Aren't those nice? All these nice new apartment structures. I think I'm by the airport. Okay, time to go. Talk to you later. See ya.